Hello there. Welcome back to my compound life. It is 11:08. 11:08 on the 20th of October. Right. I think so. Welcome back to another video of me driving to the gym and at the same time chatting you guys, or at the same time, me heading over to the gym and you guys following me on some of my daily routine. Okay, let's start. So in today's video, what I want to talk a little bit about is, I think this is on everyone's mind. Have we bottomed for Bitcoin, right? Let me make sure I can exit. Okay, fine. There's usually a big lorry just outside, so sometimes it makes it quite difficult for me to drive out to the main road. But anyway, let's get back to the topic. Have we bottomed for Bitcoin? Because obviously I think in the recent liquidation, not the last Friday but the Friday before, the massive Bitcoin crypto liquidation, right, event, many people are now frightened, right? Personally speaking, I think many of you are like me or similar in my situation, where we're not a day trader for Bitcoin and crypto, where we buy in spot and hodl. So not too worrying for us, but knowing the fact that when Bitcoin was at 126k, dropped down to about 102k in USD in the last liquidation event, can be quite frightening, right? So I think on everyone's mind now is, have we bottomed, or are we going back up? Will this be a V-shaped recovery, right? I think over the weekend, Bitcoin has been able to reclaim 108,000. I think now is at 110,000. So it's definitely showing some positive momentum, right? But at the same time, I also need to highlight, do we suddenly just ape into buying it? I think as long as you're holding spot, you're fine, right? Like myself, I'm holding spot, right? You need to be more worried about if you are on leverage or on leverage trading, right? So in that sense, be careful, right? Because it could obviously be a fake out. And that's something to take into consideration, right? So I obviously do not have a crystal ball that I can predict, but I'm also hopeful that there will be a forthcoming catalyst to bring us a notch higher, right? So as someone who's a lot more cautious, because I've entered Bitcoin at a much earlier stage, for me it's more about capital preservation. Take profits, keep on taking profits when you deem sensible, right? But at the same time, you don't want to be all out, totally out on this asset, right? Because how things are moving in the world around us, why suddenly a lot of people are aping into buying gold because they felt the lack of security, the security that the government can bring forward. They felt insecure of holding cash, holding fiat, holding US dollars, holding pounds, holding euros, and so forth, right? Because of the crazy government spending, right? So, coming back to our earlier questions, have we bottomed? I think I want to come back and to reiterate, Bitcoin, it's an asset class that I have a lot of conviction on. So similar to how Michael Saylor from Strategy put it in, Bitcoin will be going up forever, right? And it makes sense for us to hodl for the longer term. But certainly understand that every now and then, since I'm kind of going through a retirement stage, in a way that we need to take profit or taking away some lifestyle chips every now and then, right? So it makes sense for us to profit take whenever opportunity comes. But there are a few things that I need you guys to take into consideration. Number one is, has the 4 years cycle been broken for Bitcoin? Because some might argue yes, because now institutions buying, like the ETF, big companies, corporations are establishing their Bitcoin strategic reserve, right? So these are factors that will affect and lead Bitcoin into a super cycle, right? So as a careful, cautious investor of Bitcoin, right, here's how I'm going to play it. Number one, I'm still considering that 4 year cycle still exists, right? And because Bitcoin usually peaks 500 days after their halving event. So their recent halving event was sometime, I think, last year in April. And we are nearing, or actually we have actually gone past a little bit in terms of that 500 days, right? So I'm still going to keep the 4 year cycle intact and ensure that I take profits in taking consideration that, I need to take profits from the 4 year cycle, right? So the time to take profits for the Bitcoin 4 year cycle is now until end of year, December, right? And this is why I'm constantly talking about, keeping some Bitcoin because it can potentially be a super cycle, right? So if you search online, a lot of other more credible sources, like Rao Pao from Real Vision, he would talk a lot about Bitcoin follows the M2 liquidity, right? So at present, the M2 liquidity hasn't arrived yet. Quantitative easing hasn't arrived yet. So potentially, Bitcoin can also pop sometime next year, right? So that's why I want you guys, or even myself, to be prepared for that, right? Because ultimately, if Bitcoin doesn't top this year, I'm hoping that it goes to another top soon or by end of year. I'll be taking some profits. If it doesn't, it continue to go up, then by next year, I think it makes sense for us to take more profits, right? Oh, there's a parking spot. Great. Right? So yes, that's that's what I'll be doing. Okay. You know what? Something I don't really like this new Tesla is, you know, they move the move forward and backward onto the screen, right? It makes maneuvering the car so much more less efficient. Okay, but anyway, that's it. So that's what I want to talk about on this video. Have we topped? I'm hoping no, we haven't topped. But at the same time, I'm also considering that 4-year cycle may continue to run, and in that case, the best time to take profits, if we still believe in the 4-year cycle, is actually now until December, right? But more importantly, we understood that the factor that are driving Bitcoin price further, there are a lot of external factors that are now moving and shifting the Bitcoin price. And in that case, it could well be by next year, right? So make sure you take profit, right? Make sure we do take some lifestyle chips away, just so that, you know, we protect our capital, especially the fact that, you know, if you have been like myself that have been buying Bitcoin for the past couple of years, right? We have already received good gain, right? And it makes sense for us to protect that capital. Okay. That's it. That's it. What I want to talk about today. So time for gym, and make sure all of you keep fit too. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.